Yesterday, we had Missy Robinson on, and she was talking about something that she had experienced in Tennessee. And she mentioned that Riley Gaines was there. And this is the 12-time NCAA All-American swimmer who's been speaking out against, guys competing as women in women's sports. It's ridiculous what we're doing to women. In the name of women, we're letting guys swim. It's just insanity. Anyway, and I was thinking about Riley, and I don't know if we've ever had her on. Riley, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Glenn?
Very good. Have I ever had you on?
No, you haven't actually.
Geez, I don't know why. I wanted some good news at the end of the week, and some people who are standing up, and you were brought up yesterday, and I thought I wanted to just say thank you to you, Riley.
Well, what's actually so funny is it's been 1 year exactly since Leah Thomas competed against the women at our NCAA championships. And so this week I'm actually at the NCAA championships watching my teammates, my old teammates and stuff. And let me tell you, I have had so many female swimmers, parents, coaches come up to me and say the exact same thing, which I think is really important because it shows how the true majority of people, especially the ones who are directly impacted, feel about this. So I'm so grateful. It's so crazy that it requires courage to speak up about this insanity, but I appreciate your thanks.
Well, so let me ask you, where are these people? Because I am convinced every day that people know the truth. They know. They may not they may not be right on the truth, but pretty much our common sense gut is pretty good. And this stuff that's going on in almost all fronts, people are not for, but they won't say anything.
Absolutely. People are scared. Coming from my experience and talking to other athletes, again, who were directly impacted, their universities, the lengths these universities are going to silence their voices. It's actually really scary.
How are they doing it?
Well, based off my conversations with Leah Thomas's teammates who dealt with this every day, when they were concerned about sharing a locker room with someone who possessed and was exposing male genitalia, and they sent an email to their school, expressing their concern, their administration responded back with, if you feel uncomfortable seeing male genitalia, here are some counseling resources that you should seek. They were forced to go to mandatory LGBTQ meetings every week. They were told that their school, that they were not allowed to use their voice because their school has already taken their stance for them. They were told that they were responsible if any harm comes towards Leah Thomas's way. And so they're emotionally blackmailing and threatening and intimidating their swimmers, which, like I said, it's terrifying. This is a country that thrives because we have so many freedoms, one of which being the freedom of speech. And I'm seeing that being taken away from these swimmers, from the parents, from people within the administration, from medical professionals even.
Oh, I know. That's terrifying. The medical professionals that are being silenced now, it's absolutely horrifying what is going to happen. That is the way to get groupthink in your medical profession. And when groupthink happens, we've seen it happen in the past before, and it never leads to anything but nightmares.
No, you're 100% right. It's almost as if I feel like we're living in this George Orwell dystopian novel where they're trying to make us say 2 + 2 is 5. But we know 2 + 2 is not 5. But yet we have a sitting Supreme Court justice who can't even say what a woman is because she's not a biologist. But guess what? Neither am I, neither are you. But we still know what a woman is.
Yeah.
We know what womanhood entails. We know the differences between men and women, and to deny that is denying science. It's denying common sense and logic and all the things.
So how do you feel about, I think it wasn't at a Catholic school where they said they didn't want to be in a locker room with boys, and so the game was canceled, and now they're not allowed to compete?
Right. That right there shows you why more people aren't speaking up, because this team, they were very straightforward about how this goes against what they think the women's sporting category was created for, and now they're barred from other competitions.
But
there's another girl in Vermont, actually, who spoke out. She's 14. She's in high school. Same thing. She had a transgender individual on her volleyball team, and she spoke out, and she was immediately suspended from her high school. Her dad was immediately fired from his job. They tried to force her to write an apology to allow her back into school, to which she refused, and then announced, of course, she's filing a lawsuit, to which the school quickly let her back in.
It's amazing. I have to tell you, Riley, you don't know this now, but you're young enough to where you will live to the other side of this. You and people like you are going to be remembered as real heroes in this time. And depending on how it goes, how bad it has to get before we wake up, the bigger of the statue they'll make of people like you. But it happens every time. You hold to your values while the country loses its mind and goes over a cliff. It eventually comes back, and it's usually not in that person's lifetime, but they are remembered
Absolutely.
as leaders. And
well, I think what you said is perfect. A perfect analogy of what's happening is we've swung too far. The pendulum, we have far exceeded what is sane. And I believe we're in the process of hopefully restoring that pendulum to normalcy. But I get told all the time, you will be on the wrong side of history because you're not inclusive, you're not being kind. But guess what? Affirming these people, these males who want to identify as women and infiltrate into our once sex-protected spaces, that is not kind, and that is not inclusive. We are not helping these individuals. We are harming them, with women being the collateral damage in the process.
Big time. So if you had advice to give to somebody to stand up, because if I were leading if I were a coach, I'd be a very bad coach. But if I were a coach, I would make the case, girls, this is much more important than any award we could ever win.
100%.
What advice would you give to anybody who is in this situation and not speaking out?
First and foremost, I think it's crucial that parents, coaches, the people who are supposed to be protecting us, even me last year in this situation, I was 21 when all this happened. I was an adult, but I felt like someone was supposed to be protecting us, in which there were, like I said, parents, coaches, people within the NCAA. These are the people who need to use their voice. Then, of course, it comes to the female athletes, just like you said, and it took me a while to realize this. There is so much at stake when we're denying the sheer essence of humanity, man and woman. We have got to be willing to stand firm in what that is and what our differences are and how we deserve to be recognized and celebrated. Because when we allow one man into our spaces, this is a slippery slope. It's only a matter of time before one male national champion becomes 3 and then 5 and so on and so forth. And people will take advantage of the system that we have in place. It's happening in prisons. Just in California in the recent weeks, there's been 1,200 men apply to be in women's prisons because, of course, you get to be housed with women, and these men are convicted of heinous things like rape and child pornography and kidnapping, but yet they're going to live with women because they say they are one. We have to be bold. We have to stand true. We have to stay educated on the topic, and I hate saying that because it makes me sound like some sort of advocate or activist. But it's important. We have to know that this is happening to believe the narrative that this is a non-issue. That cannot be further from the truth. I could list off examples for the next hour of the radio show, but I don't want to. I don't want to bore you guys. But it's important to stay educated and to use your voice, be bold, stand firm in your values. Because, like I said previously, this is the majority who feels the exact way I'm speaking.
Riley, I don't know if you know this, but I collect history, and I've learned one thing. And that is, there's been people in my life during my life that have done remarkable things, and I have missed the opportunity to record that. I don't want to miss those. You are one of those people, I think, that are important to our history. I would love for you to, if you could, just even a page, just handwrite out your thoughts of why you stood and what you were standing for. So I could include it in our museum, and I'd love to have you come down at some point and do a podcast with me. You're great.
Well, that sounds absolutely incredible, and I would be up for that anytime. And I really appreciate you having me on and just continuing to shed light on this really important and detrimental issue.
Riley, thank you. God bless.
Yes, thanks.
See you, babe.